welcome to the Firehouse Roundtable podcast, brought to you by the Ventura Fire Foundation. I'm one of your hosts, Peter McKenzie, retired fire captain with the City of Ventura Fire Department, and my co-host, Jason Kay, active battalion chief with the City of Ventura Fire Department. We are going to bring awareness to real issues that face firefighters and their families. We want you to feel like you have a seat at the kitchen table, which every firefighter knows is the heart of the firehouse. Let's get right into the episode.
Hey, this is Joe from Ventura Fire Foundation. This is an incredibly special episode of the Firehouse Roundtable podcast, literally over a year in the making. In this episode, we have 4 firefighter spouses, Amanda Ellis, Maggie Hernandez, Stephanie Kay, and Anna Young, talking about the Foundation's newest initiative, which is called the Fire Family Collective. The Fire Family Collective will be completely free, and it's an online digital community for fire families that offers resources, education, and connection. We're incredibly excited about it. If you've listened to the past episodes of the show, you've probably heard Peter allude to it here and there. Well, now we're finally to the point where, almost to the point where we're ready to launch. We expect to launch the community in January of 2025, and this episode of the show just gives you a preview of the kinds of content and resources that we will be providing in that community for firefighter spouses. If it sounds like it's something interesting for you, there's a link in the show notes that you can sign up, provide us your information, and once we're ready to launch, we'll send you a link that you can join the community. Again, it's completely free. One little housekeeping item, we're going to take a couple months off from new episodes of the podcast while we do some planning and chart out the future next year of the show. So look for us to come back after the first of the year. And with that, on to the show.
All right, we are here talking about the Fire Family Collective for the first time. We're super excited to be sitting here chatting with you all, and we're going to get started introducing ourselves.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Maggie Hernandez. I am married to Eric Hernandez. He's an active duty firefighter paramedic for Pasadena City Fire Department, and I am also a first responder therapist.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, Maggie.
Yay. I am Stephanie Kay. My husband is Jason Kay, is battalion chief with Ventura City Fire. We have been with the department for 23 years, and I am a school nurse. And I think that's all I got.
Great. Thanks, Steph.
I'm Anna Young, and I am married to Chuck Young, retired Ventura City Fire engineer. And it's kind of an interesting position to be in, both retired.
That's so exciting. We are so grateful for you being here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And my name is Amanda Ellis. My husband is John Ellis, and he is currently an engineer with Ventura City Fire. And before that, he was at Sacramento Fire. So we have the unique experience of lateral in our fire journey. And I'm a mama of 2. And now we're going to get into it. Why we're talking about this Fire Family Collective and just the exciting idea that we're creating something bigger than us and coming together because we want to have this shared safe space for us and be together more often. So the Fire Family Collective is just going to be something that's really, I think, going to change our lives as significant others of firefighters. And I'm excited to embark on this with you. So thanks again for being here.
I like looking at the vision. Like when we take a look at what the Fire Family Collective talks about, under the vision, I like when it says, Fire Family Community envisions a world where fire families are empowered, resilient, and supported in navigating the unique challenges and the joys of their lifestyle. And then going on to the mission, the Fire Family Community provides a supportive community for fire families by offering resources, education, and connection. And my favorite part was we strive to empower fire families to overcome adversity, strengthen their relationships, and foster a sense of belonging within the fire community. And I think when we go back with whatever we do, with whatever conversations we have, whatever education comes forward, to remember that we are striving to be a united, to strengthen relationships and foster a sense of belonging. I stuck with that. That stuck with me. So,
yeah, I remember being a new fire wife when John was in Sacramento. Actually, I was a girlfriend at the time. And so feeling so different because I was a girlfriend and not a wife was a unique experience for me. And then coming to Ventura and now having a different experience being a lateral, we already had a sense of what fire life was like, but it was different finding a new home here. So how to connect with people who are already connected when I felt like I left my fire family in Sacramento.
Sure.
It's nice to think of, having that again. And now I get in 2 places instead of feeling like I lost something.
And I don't think, for me, I think I've had to do a lot of education with folks around me. I think when I was still in my last life of marketing, I would have to explain to every single supervisor or manager, whoever I had, hey, so this is what it's like to do my life. And there are going to be times where if my husband gets mandatoried, I don't have any family nearby. Childcare is going to come to me. So if I have to work from home one day, just know that I'm not hanging out, screwing around and watching Bridgerton or whatever. I'm actually like that call back there. I'm actually taking care of my children. I will continue to do my job, but please understand that this is how my life works. And I've had a lot of people say, well, what do you mean he's working on Christmas? And for us, it's not a big deal. We already understand that because this is our lives. Right. But for the average person, it's tough to not be understood. I think a lot of my friends have had a hard time with that too, just in the past, because my husband and I have been together for 10 years. So but in the first couple of years, it was, wait, so he's not going to be home for your birthday? And to me, it was just, it's any other day. He'll be home the next day and we'll celebrate then.
Right. The date
that's what we
doesn't
do.
Dictate things for us.
No. Yeah. So having a community where we don't have to explain that, we don't have to, put any qualifiers on things, where you're just understood.
Right.
That's just, it's priceless for me.
Yeah. We have a unique shared experience and can relate without even having to say anything. You just get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think when my kids were little, we did have a community of, I had a community, I guess, of other moms within the school, but none of them understood the fire aspect of it. So that would have been really helpful to have a family, not just the guys, but the wives, or the ones that understood what being alone was, running the household, and just figuring it out. You had to. And back in my day, when it was snowing and it was, here in Ventura, we didn't have cell phones, so we couldn't give them a call and check in and say, hey, this is how it was. What do I do? It was like, you just do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's the way it is, regardless of cell phones. You just got to figure it out on your own.
Only now we have YouTube University to figure out how to do things.
That's the truth.
I think you touched on a couple things. Being a new mom, right? Like I went from having this unique experience, but then I'm a new mom and we're in a new community, and I'm trying to relate in motherhood to people, and I'm feeling like I'm drowning even more because I don't have a sense of community within my community as a fire wife, and all these other moms who their moms would come over so they could take a shower. Their moms would come over so they could go out for date night. And I'm 6 hours away from my mom and 13 hours away from John's mom. I don't have that. Like, I'm not taking a shower. So navigating that with, I want to make these new mom friends, and how do I find my connection with them outside of that? And then, Harlow shoves something up her nose and John doesn't answer the phone because he's at work, and there's a fire here in Ventura, and I'm not going to the emergency room right now. What am I going to do? I need to go to my phone and resource this. I'm going to text my friend who's a nurse. Am I going to drive over to the ER doctor that lives in the neighborhood? How am I getting this out of her nose? Just these things that we deal with as firewives when we can't get a hold of our significant other. We have to find a way and just do that. Just crazy.
And I love our stories because in the end, they're almost like badges of courage.
Oh, for sure.
We never would have done this
No.
if it was left to our own devices. And there is something to be proud of that. Guess what? We figured it out, and we are on the other side of it. And when we get in our own heads, that's why I like this collective, because a lot of times when we stay in just our heads, we're really hard on ourselves and we can spiral down. And if you have the resource to reach out and just share the thought of, I'm just going to do this, to be able to say, nice job, nice job.
Yeah.
Or, hey, while you're doing the thing, think of this too. And to have a community that holds space for you in wherever you're at, but not just stuck in your own head and your own devices. You can reach out before, you get too down.
Yeah. I think that's one of my favorite things about you, Steph, is you help see a different perspective. You're like, let's put on a different pair of glasses. And I think of that often when I'm like, I'm going insane. What is happening? Take a deep breath. Let's look at this from a different perspective and get out of my one single vision that I'm seeing it, and text someone who's going to save me from myself and my thoughts. And just having that ability to have this list of, incredibly strong women that I can call upon when I need them. I can drive around the corner to Anna's house, which is really nice, or 7 minutes to Maggie. It's a blessing to have when I have felt so isolated and alone before, and to not have other women partners feel that way anymore. Just open this up to so many people who can be embraced with warm hugs and open arms immediately when they are part of the fire family.
Yeah.
And certainly if there's a comfort zone, because we've built that family relationship and those friendships, it's a safe circle to be able to vent. And venting sometimes is just very healthy, but at the same time, we don't want to affect our partner or husband or family, or our family to have negative vibes of the situation. It's just one of those things we just need to let it off in a safe space. And And usually that's all it is because we have each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can get it out, then it's not so big in our head anymore. That's why I loved the mission statement of overcoming adversity, strengthen your relationships, and foster a sense of belonging. You know, those relationships are not even just with our wives, but with our spouses. And a lot of times, if we can hear ourselves talk about the things we're frustrated with, it becomes so much smaller, and we're able to navigate that a little bit better in some of the venting with the mission statement of it is to strengthen relationships.
Very, very true.
I hear that a lot as part of my work. Wow, when I hear myself say that, it sounds so insignificant or it sounds so stupid. And no, it's very real for you and that's okay. But yeah, somehow just talking about the things to someone who is not part of, like that disinterested third party, just having someone who is not part of it, who can just kind of be a sounding board.
It can be like,
so valuable.
My husband was mandated again.
Yeah.
And other people are going to go, well, you chose that. So give me a break.
The next time I hear that, I'm probably going to
unleash.
I have a really hard time with that. I have a client who actually said that the other day about his own line of work. He's a law enforcement officer. And he said, well, I chose this. And I said, hang on. I want to challenge that just a little bit. Did you sign up because you wanted to go on PEDS calls? Like, did you sign up for that? Did you sign up because you wanted to go on shootings and all of these motor vehicle accidents? Did you sign up for that? And he said, well, no. And I said, you signed up knowing that was part of the job. Sure. You didn't sign up to do that. You wouldn't make it past the MMPI if that was the case, right? So we don't sign up for this. We sign up for a life with our partners, knowing that this is going to be part of it. Some people don't even know that this is going to be part of it, right? Like sometimes you get into a relationship with someone and they decide they want to go into the fire service or they haven't been hired yet. So you're going to end up going through probation and all of the other stuff. But it's not like I didn't sign up for a life where my husband was going to be gone half of the month. It's just part of our lives together.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, that's my rant on.
No,
you signed up for this.
Yeah.
Really? Did I?
I think that's huge. It's the same. You say apply that to anything, parenting. Like I didn't sign up for my kid to shove a thing up their nose. Like you can apply it in many things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and it's the opposite. It's dismissive rather than validating.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love this. All right. Do we want to talk about why do we feel building community is important for firefighter families? We feel like we already kind of did that.
Kind of covered it.
Yeah. Does anybody want to share advice for new significant others entering this world?
Oh, I'm not in the advice business. Get your community though. Like make friends with some folks in the department, even other departments. I don't care, but have some visibility, or other people who get your lifestyle. You have to, even if you have to sit down with one of your neighbors who you're close with and explain, hey, this is what our life is like. Just have someone who understands. Close by, preferably.
I like saying to myself, how I feel today is not probably how I'm going to feel in 10 minutes, 10 days, 10 months, 10 years. Being open to the fact that I'm just a constant student of life, and navigating today doesn't decide my whole years of relationship, or it decides right this second. But the ability to be able to, okay, there are many perspectives. And if I can say to myself, this perspective isn't working for me, or it's having a negative effect on my kids or whatever, I got to work on just taking off these glasses and wearing the other glasses, or finding other glasses, like finding your community to bounce things off. Because if things aren't working, we are not meant to just live out of our own thoughts. So as a starting, there's so many great doors that are going to open, and there's some that are going to close, and find your people to share it with, and to know that you are not alone. And there are people out there that will hold space for you and meet you where you're at. And it is okay, no matter what you're thinking and feeling. You're probably not the first one to think that, and to be able to share stories is priceless.
Yeah.
And enjoy the ride, because it's over before you blink an eye. I remember the day when we'd get a call from a firefighter saying something that they saw my kid maybe doing something they weren't supposed to or whatever. And we'd laugh and say, there's eyes everywhere, dear. But the reality is it happens fast, and you want to enjoy the moment. You want to be able to look back and smile and not leave on a bad note or have regrets or be burned out, and know that you have each other's back. And it's a great family. We can't choose our blood family members, but we can choose those others that are great friends. And I think in our lives, I have a lot of history, obviously being older. Chuck's family is that fire department he grew up with. And we're so thankful and so blessed. And I think when you're young, sometimes you don't realize that they I don't know, they will become your family, especially if you're a newbie.
Yeah. They for sure became our family when we were in SAC. Like, we didn't have anyone. And, we had a few friends, but that fire family was our chosen family. And it was a beautiful gift. And then the same thing here with transitioning to Ventura. I mean, the kids say, this is my fire family. They're 3 and 5 and say that. So it's just ingrained in who they are and how important it is to all of us. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my kids will joke all the time about all of the uncles and aunts that they have. Because I think now with, all the guys who are here for the mountain fire, we have 2 rigs from Pasadena, and we drove past one the other day, and my daughter goes, "Oh, is Uncle Sean driving that one?" She wanted to see if Uncle Sean was driving. And I said, "Oh, no, Uncle Sean's driving the other one." But, that. And it's just fun that they got to have, my son said a few months ago, "Mom, I sure have a lot of uncles." Yeah, you really do, bud.
Yes. I love it. On that topic, let's transition to kiddos.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that we're hoping with the Fire Family Collective is to also really add more kid-centered events and spaces that we can connect. And, like Maggie and I went to Stash Fest last weekend, and it was great, but that it's not maybe the most kid-friendly event. So how can we as a Fire Family Collective start doing things, incorporating more events that maybe are more geared towards the kids being the center of the event and it catering around them and bringing mom and dad around them instead of the other way around where it's mom and dad and the kids are there. So just really looking forward to how we can support our fire family and that kid aspect of community.
Oh my gosh, I think that is so cool because I didn't have that. And I kind of am jealous that, Santa is coming to Station 6.
Yes.
And we didn't have that child base thing going on back then. And so I was always going, oh my gosh, that is just the coolest thing. And now I'm going to get to take my granddaughter. So I got to tell you, you guys are so nice to keep us in the fire family. And we're going to bring our granddaughter to that event. But I can see how I was a working mom, so a little different in that I wasn't home. But I can tell you, if I was home, I would be wanting a play date so bad. And I think it's neat that if you have this collective, you can figure out ways of bringing the kids together more often.
Yeah, the kids have their regular list of kids they ask, are we going to see this friend? Are we going to see that friend? Is it time to go to Santa? These things have become their regular rotation and they request often.
I got to say, you guys had something at the brewery not too long ago, and that was really nice for us in that even my granddaughter came with my kids because my kids still feel like they're part of the family, the fire family being in their 30s. But I got to say, some of these breweries are pretty kid friendly. And so it's kind of a nice venue. And if those kind of things happen more often, whether it's just the kids or families, it's just wonderful that you guys continue to do that.
So great. The kids love the arcade games, come with all their quarters and they're ready to rage those machines. I love it.
Do they still allow families to go to the fire station?
Yeah.
Because I think that's important too. I mean, but we're locals, so we were able to go to the fire station. The kids were able to be there, but a lot of the firefighters commute now, so I didn't know if it was a no anymore.
It's a good point.
I think it was during COVID. It was they kind of
shied away,
kind of sort of put the kibosh on it. You could still go, just don't post about it, kind of a thing. But I mean, when we lived closer to Pasadena, we would go all the time. We went to the fire station once a week, sometimes twice a week, depending on what his schedule was like. They were still on a modified Kelly back then, so it was a little different. But yeah.
I think it depends on the station and the captain and everything because training. Yeah, we in SAC, I never took the kids. That was like a huge.
You just don't.
It was like it's Christmas. You're there because it's Christmas. Yeah. But here they've been much more inviting, so welcoming. I texted Steph the most amazing Mother's Day at Station 2. It was so nice. It was so low key. They did dinner. I showed up. They had flowers and dessert and another 2 firewives and the kids had the best time.
And it's so healthy for them because kid, Chuck would get a call and it's, okay, Dad's gone.
Yep.
We'll wait and see if he comes home. And if we're here an hour, we'll just split.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we do now. I mean, we'll go for, we went for Father's Day. We go for Mother's Day. We're going to be there for Thanksgiving this year. Yeah. And I love doing that. I think it's great. The kids love getting to go.
It is really important. Yeah. I think that the phone call ahead of time to make sure they're not in training or stuff like that is pretty important. But for the kids' sake and their upbringing, it's important to see what they do and how they do it.
Yep. We've had many I forgot my badge and my boots. You need to bring them to me right now. Okay, here we go. We got to go see Daddy. We get to go see Daddy. Get to see Daddy.
Beautiful reframe.
But just in terms of the collective, just we in the Firehouse Roundtable, we've had some podcasts about this already with kiddos, and there's going to be tons of more resources that we're hoping to bring into the website aspect of the collective for kids. And there's a new book out, and actually I won one. I forgot. I'm excited to read it to the kids. So hopefully there'll just be more things like this that are, in the realm of the culture of this space and that are accessible for all of us. So
yeah, I really liked Tiffany's episode on the Fire Foundation's podcast. I thought that was a really great episode.
Her ideas.
Oh, she's fantastic. Yeah. We do a few of those at home. I wrote my notes down of the different things, but yeah, we have an art corner in Daddy's locker that they get to contribute. It's like a rotating exhibition in Dad's locker.
New artwork.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's mostly if they miss him. Like right now he's on a 120. So my daughter is just churning out the pictures right now.
For the locker specifically?
Oh, yeah. He's going to have probably a wallpaper of just different flowers. I think right now she did a bunch of sunflowers last night.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool?
When
We talk about purpose. Our husbands are in the service industry, meaning they serve others, and they're heroes, right? For our kids to give them the same perspective of, and it may be the Fire family kids, but to volunteer and serve, whether it be at the shelter, whether it be, you were a hero today. You served like Dad served.
Yeah.
And we are part of a family. And as we are part of a family, we serve others. So
I really like that.
Can be something too.
Yeah. Give them that connection of different ways to serve and bring it back to daddy or mommy.
Amen. Amen.
True. Yes. All right, let's get a little blurb here on mental health. All right, so the main focus of the Fire Family Collective will not be mental health, but there will be a component of mental health that we address and offer. And we have a perfect person here with us.
Ooh, let's not go that far.
To speak about this. And not only, because you're a fire wife, you're a mom, and you are a therapist. So you can share from different lenses on this topic because you are well-versed in so much.
Just to have my fingers in all of the things. Yeah. I think I'd like to contribute, obviously, not just services. I think everyone, just from chatting with folks at Ventura Fire, they all know that I'm available. I think, I've slowly but surely kind of been able to meet folks from every department. They always know that if I'm not available, one of my colleagues is, but yeah, being able to really support the partners, I think that was really my reason for getting in was, yes, to work with the first responder themselves, but to support the partners as well, because this is a really difficult life. And I think with the clients who I see who are partners, they've already got their own trauma histories and stuff. Sometimes that gets activated by their partners. Sometimes that they're just trying to navigate that comes up while they're raising their children. And so being able to have support for the partners has been something that I've been really, really passionate about. Just, keeping an eye on the partners has been, again, something for me. But I think one of the biggest things I see in first responder couples is attachment styles. And I think we talked about this briefly on a while ago stuff, was just the difference in attachment styles in first responder relationships, and how you can see in civilian relationships, you'll see some different attachment styles as well. But in first responders, it's more, as in sharper relief, I suppose. Like we definitely have an avoidant. It's usually the first responder. And we 100% have an anxious attacher, and it's the partner. And this lifestyle does not really help, help with either of those attachment styles. Really the avoidant can stay avoidant because they're gone all the time. The anxious is going to stay anxious because their partner is gone all the time. And there's so much unknown with this life. You all know this, there's so much unknown that most of the time you can navigate it, but other times it's a real challenge. So, I think that's usually what I see is a lot of the attachment style stuff. And then, being able to, because this lifestyle is so different, being able to kind of watch out for, I think one of the things I talk about a lot with my couples is kind of balancing that bank account that we all have, just like that, this metaphorical bank account that we all have, where practicing some of the Gottman stuff of turning toward each other and like really putting in the time, building that culture of appreciation. Sometimes it becomes really transactional, especially in this field. The relationships are just kind of like, okay, get this done, get that done, get this done. It's the whole checklist thing. But being able to take the time to say, hey, I really appreciate that you picked up coffee on your way home today. Or I really appreciate that you took care of the floors when I was at the office today. My husband makes coffee for me every morning when he goes on shift because he knows that it's going to be crazy for me when the kids are up and I'm trying to get ready to go to the office. And I will every day, there's a cup of coffee that's already there. Sometimes he puts a little note with it and stuff, but it's all doctored up and ready to go. And I will tell him every time, thank you so much for my coffee. It's delicious. He may have forgotten to put in the sugar that day. It might taste like crap. I may have to make my own coffee again or go find one at Simone's or whatever. But, he takes the time to do that, which I think that kind of, those little things It's a deposit that he puts in that bank account so that if he pisses me off,
You remember that?
I'm a lot more understanding than I would be if I'm already kind of operating on empty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, relationship wise, I think that plays into mental health for sure.
And it comes back up later on. So working through the avoidance versus the anxiety and a fire hits. And now we are not a part of it, but we're hearing all of the worst possible things. And how do we center ourselves? I think it took me at least 10 years to be able to go, hold on. And because Fire Academy wise, this is what they've trained to do.
Oh, yeah.
So they're having the time of our life. How do I manage all the things that are going on in my head that are getting bigger and bigger and worse and catastrophizing everything?
Yes.
That's probably not a word, but it is.
Totally is. It is.
And to be able to reach out and go, okay, I just need a recenter. I just need to get back to, and being able to have that bank of people to be able to go, oh, girlfriend, I so get it. And these are the things that helped me through the years. Maybe won't help you, but find your way because you're going to be telling somebody else about it. Anyways,
Which is another like great aspect of the collective that we're hoping to bring is that like specific mentor matching beyond just having the community is, setting you up with a mentor that you have and you can text, call, hopefully coffee dates, whatever in person. And they're just that like, go-to person for you because that was me. I was freaking out a few days ago with the fire and I like texted Steph and it was so nice to just have her calming words to bring me back down. And it's chaos, like you said, in your thoughts. And then having that different set of glasses, they train for this. This is what they want to be doing. They want to be serving. They want to be out, putting that fire out, saving these homes, helping these people, and having that reminder of this is the beauty that they find in the career they show up to every day and have their time away from us to do just exactly what's happening, as horrible as it is. And having someone to be able to help bring me back down.
Because the honesty of it, when she's like, how do I know something's not going to happen? We don't know.
We don't.
We don't know.
We never know.
And I needed to hear that. I needed to be told we don't know because that was very sobering to be completely honest. It was.
And to make sure it stayed separate. Look, they're doing what they want to do. I get that right here. That is really scary and can really make your day at home knowing all of the situation that was going on with the smoke and all the things you hear and see. You are still important. Your thoughts are still important. Beyond that, stay here. Let's walk through this together because you are just as important and need to be just as validated in what you're in right now.
Right. I'm so thankful. Anna, to kind of put this your way because you have a different perspective navigating mental health through career because now Chuck's out of it and also in the retirement side. Is there anything you want to share that, you think would be helpful for us to hear?
Well, first of all, as a woman, you become very independent. And it's funny, I missed the attachment podcast because, one day you're doing it all on your own and the next day they're here 24/7. So it is a huge adjustment for them, a huge loss for them, but it's a huge adjustment for you as a woman as well. But I know that Ventura City Fire has made some significant changes in really just addressing mental health. It's not taboo anymore. And I think that's a wonderful thing because you can have the opportunity if you take it. As the saying is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. And the resources are there. And that's why I think it's so exciting that you're bringing this community available, the fire family community, because it's another resource. And that's going to help on the mental side for both the firefighters as well as the families. So I think that's a wonderful thing. So keep it up.
Thanks for listening. This is Joe from Ventura Fire Foundation. We have an exciting lineup of free webinars for firefighter families in 2024. In November, Tiffany Atala, marriage and family therapist and firewife, will speak to the unique challenges of parenting in fire families. The webinars are open to fire families throughout the U.S. and will be held on Zoom. There are limited seats available though, so register soon. You can register on our website or through the link in the show notes. All of the webinars will be recorded and made available on our website and YouTube channel. Support from Vanguard Charitable made this series possible, and we thank them. Now back to the show.
When I saw this question, I just had an answer.
Oh.
Right? I just had an answer.
Oh,
And
this
then
is
I
the
thought,
one. Okay.
This is the one.
Okay.
And then I had to look at intention. As moms, we hold their today, their yesterday, and their future. And I had to really stop and say, what is your intention? And I think as moms, when we lead, guide, direct, give wisdom to our kids, we have to go through kind of a checklist on, is this my wish or is it their wish? Because it is common, whatever industry you're in, if the kids grow up with this, they have a knowledge of how to be this, whether it be firefighting, police, nurse, whatever. Businessman, business owner.
Actor, singer.
Exactly.
Anything,
right,
yeah.
Right? Musician. And I think as moms, we see the horror to it and the beauty to it. And Derek Bean, man, he nailed it with firefighting. You know, he said, I think that people should do something else before they decide to be a fireman. And that's such great advice, because the emotional maturity that needs to happen in firefighting, when it's not there, or they're in it for, I want to be a hero, or it just takes such a huge emotional maturity for somebody to be a good fireman that's not going to have bitterness down the road, or what do they call it? Salty.
Oh, yeah.
To be salty, to really understand who you are as a fireman and to have a good career, the entire fire career. I think Derek was spot on when he's like, you need to do something else before you decide to be a fireman. But as a mom, now my son is a fireman, to be able to check in with him and go, find your why. What is your personal mission statement? Because as the injustices happen, as the fatigue happens, as the glasses you're going to see the public with happen, man, really have a mission statement for what you want. And check yourself. Are you doing it because you want to make your dad proud? Or is this something that is a passion for you? And if it is a passion, what is your passion? Is it to wear the uniform? Is it to serve this? What is your passion? And all of that puts your intention maybe just to the side a little bit and make sure they get to operate their futures with a little bit of wisdom in the process of it. Because our middle son got his criminal justice degree. He was going to be a service, we are a service industry family. And he would apply and he had to come to terms with the fact that he was not created to be law enforcement or this industry. And he was the super creative. Now he works in fabrication and welding and all that and loves it, but had to come to a point of being true to who he was and not try to make family proud by fitting into a box. But when we're true to who we are and hoping that as parents, we lead and guide them to their passions and their why.
Right.
So that was my long story to that.
That's beautiful. I think that's one of the benefits about having this community of fire families, because hopefully we're all going to partner and expose our kids to different things. Like, maybe you're an artist, maybe you're a nurse, and they're going to see these strong, incredible partners of their firefighter parent who do these other things and can open worlds for them in a different way. And they find their calling and what they're aligned with and curious about. Maybe it's not going to be their career, but it's something they enjoy doing. And it's because they know Miss Stephanie is a nurse. They know Miss Alex is an artist. And now that's curiosity that we're able to expose them.
That's true. My son actually went through the academy and did very, very well. And he's not a firefighter. He chose not to be. And as parents, we always encouraged him to do what makes him happy. But growing up in a fire family, I think there is a lot of heroism and a lot of, you're very proud. We're proud of our family. We're proud of our husbands. We're proud of our dads or whatever. And I think for him to make that decision not to go that direction after academy, even though he graduated and did very well. I think he did not want to disappoint us. And the reality is, I'm glad that he's happy. But that was a lot on his part to make the decision not to move forward. And I'm really proud of him for that, because as a child of a firefighter or a child period, the last thing we want to do is disappoint our parents, no matter who we are. And so growing up in a fire family, I think it's even more so.
I love that. That's hard to navigate. So it's good to hear. All right. Does anybody want to take a drink of water? And then we'll.
Yes, please. Thank you.
We've been talking for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting though, because I have friends where, dad was a teacher, mom was a nurse, and 2 of the members of the family were teachers and 2 were nurses. So we do tend to look up to our parents.
Yeah, it becomes the family business.
Okay. Blue bloods.
I like that you ask that though, Steph. I think that's really cool because I think a lot of my work centers around who are you outside of this job, because this job can be taken away. You can be let go, you can get hurt and have to get medically retired. You are going to retire someday. So who are you outside of this job?
Yeah.
Right? Because this job it's not like being an accountant. I don't think that most accountants identify as an accountant.
Right. They say that's their job.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I'm definitely not going to talk trash about accountants. They're necessary, but first responders specifically identify as that career, whether they think they do or not. Right. So having that other part, being able to work with folks and say, like, what is your identity outside of this? When this goes away, because eventually it will, through choice or not.
Who are you?
Yeah. Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah.
What are the things that you do that feed your soul? What are the things that you do that you love? It's personally, like, my husband had no hobbies for years. And I remember kind of mentioning it casually here and there. And it wasn't until his therapist said something that he now goes fishing and he works on his car. Like, he has an old 47 that he works on. But like, those are his things. Those are the things he loves. That's what he's really passionate about, those 2 things. Like, dude,
that's perfect.
2 things. Yeah. But it's hard because I think this job can, promotions.
Let me tell you, when you're retired, it's even worse.
I'm sure.
Because they have nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
The TV.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's finding it again. Like,
And
what
when we
does that
see
in the
our
new
kids,
season?
we're kind of navigating, seeing, not necessarily in the fire service, but seeing people get fired or get laid off, and making sure that these valleys there is going to be a tomorrow, and what is going to be your next thing. And when you don't identify as the thing that let you go, then you're going to be able to find more of a passion of what is next, because it doesn't define you. It was just a part of you that isn't going to be. And that's okay. And as moms, it is important for us one of the hardest things for me is to let your kids be late. Like, you need to get up, you need to get going, you need to get up, you need to get going.
Oh, I struggle with that. I really struggle with that.
Okay, I forgot my lunch. Okay, I'll be right there.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot my paper. Okay, I'll be right there. And there's so much value in feeling the loss of something that didn't work out. And it's so important as moms that we allow that failure to happen, going, hey, I got you. I'm next to you. I'm with you. I'm in this valley with you, but we are in the valley and we'll get out of the valley
together.
But I'm not going to take the valley away from you.
And I'm not going to carry you through to the other side. That's been the lighthouse parenting idea. Yes. Yeah. I love that. Like, you're there. Yeah. You're not going to do all the things. It's kind of where we're going in my house these days. Boy.
Well, it's interesting because our trainer has a son, he's 15 and totally into football. He's a quarterback and he's been raised that way. And he was telling me the other day that he has a 3.75 GPA. And it's like, I go, that is really cool. Because that's not easy to do when you're traveling for high school and this kind of thing. He goes, yeah, my best friend made us go to a sports psychologist years ago. Sports psychologist?
Yes.
What's the deal with that? Never heard of it.
They're amazing. Yeah.
And he said, he put a line right here. And he said, okay, this is the sports kid, these things, but what's on this side?
Yep.
And, as a firefighter, they should do that. Okay, this is the firefighter side, but what's on this side?
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, Chuck's identity was firefighting. Still is.
Sure.
So I think that's really cool. I'm still learning.
Yeah. I don't know if other therapists do that. I just know I do with my folks. Yeah. It's okay. So who else, who are you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're not doing this, who are you? Because I know some of the guys who that is their whole identity, and good for them. They're really passionate about their work. But I worry about them when they're not doing this job anymore, though.
Well, and just along the way.
Yeah.
Like, it affects your other relationships.
For sure.
Or lack thereof.
Or, yeah, exactly.
So, all right. This is my really exciting topic. Which we already kind of talked about. But let's chat about how the Fire Family Collective is going to support new hires and their families and what we envision for that. So personally, like I said, I just hope that this is a space to be so welcoming for new community and existing community, and just wrap you up in big hugs. And can we get you a DoorDash gift certificate? We are bringing you flowers. You're getting a birthday card, like whatever it looks like. I don't exactly know, but just it's going to be very cozy feeling and full of love and not isolating and lonely. And I don't know, I just envision like the excited jumping ladies and just so excited to add more to it. So that's my vision for it.
Yeah, to be able to when they go for the day that they talk about right before the academy starts, oh, welcome to, Ventura City Fire. And there have been times where they walked out of there scared. The families are really scared. This is hard. That is the reality. This is really difficult. Yes, they will be exhausted, but to really point out the other supportive part of it. And again, no matter what we do, it's their perspective on what they're going to take us for. But if we can be able to say, hey, here's a basket. I want to make, as the fire family, as the collective, the wives and the people behind the scenes, here's a meal. Here's some flowers. Here's some validity. Here are a couple mentors' numbers. They will take your call 24/7. They understand what you're going through. Don't stay in your head. Get out there, make a phone call, just try it out. I know for the first time it's going to feel weird to call this stranger, but they're ready for you. And yeah, here's a meal, here's our numbers. Please write down your birth dates and a couple things you're into, a couple of your favorite stores, just to make that first validating connection. We see you. We hold space for you.
I just love it so much. I'm so excited. And I think, Steph, you talk about it a lot, this like confidence vault, right? Like just knowing you have these people in your corner who get it and they're not going to go talk about it with other people. And it looks just like beautiful sisterhood. And it's just nice to know you're not alone. And when you feel
safe.
Yeah.
Just safe.
Yeah.
I think it can be, I don't know. My husband was already on the job when I met him, and it can be pretty intimidating to come into, and you know this already, Amanda, like coming into a department where people are already, there's established relationships and established friendships and things. So having that where, again, even if it's not your particular department, who you have, your mentor, your peer support buddy, whatever we want to call it, when they're attached to you, yeah, they might be with a totally different department. It's okay.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
We've heard like, I don't want to share with people that are.
And I get that.
Right.
Yeah, I get that. But one of my clients reached out the other day saying, hey, do you know of any resources for my department's spouses? And it's a big department. And I said, no, I'm not aware of anything that's specific to spouses with this particular agency. I said, I know of other ones, and I know of other like virtual options and stuff and like Facebook groups and things like that. But nothing like this actually exists. Nothing like the collective exists right now, which is really exciting. I think that we can kind of help fill that void for people. But this is the kind of organization where I can tell my client, well, hey, there's this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is sometimes nice to go back to that point of maybe you don't want to share it with the people in your department. And
Sure.
I want someone maybe like you who still lives in Ventura. I could still see you because we're less than 10 minutes from each other, but I want to talk about it with some more anonymity. Can't think. Anonymity. Thank you.
I can never say
Well, yeah, because my brother-in-law and sister-in-law live 5 minutes up the street from us, and she's an LA City wife. My brother-in-law's a captain for city. So but we get to bounce things off of each other. It's not like I have to talk to another Pasadena wife. I have several Pasadena friends who are super close to me, and yes, I can reach out to them too, but there are going to be some things where I kind of just maybe want to have a little bit of anonymity, or maybe I just want to talk to my sister-in-law about this instead, right? It's the way it is.
Because a lot of times we don't like the process of things. We don't like how the testing's going.
We're going to have issues. Yeah.
And I don't necessarily want that message to go out and maybe get to chiefs or whatever.
Sure.
So to be able to call somebody from a different department,
Another agency,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yay. Does anybody want to chat about any advice that they would give to spouses who may be overwhelmed by the schedule and work demands, or things that come up for the new hires, how we could proactively address that? Any of those things?
I have notes.
Oh, yes. Give it to us.
It's a bullet pointed list.
Yes.
But being able to put in something that's helpful for us that we actually did not do in the beginning, that we've had to do, I think really as we had kids, was being able to have a State of the Union planning meeting we talk about, and it's just, sometimes it's really informal. We'll go to Ventiki and we'll grab a drink and we'll say, okay, what do we need to accomplish in this next 6 months? Like, what do the next 6 months look like for us? So we can look at our shared calendar. That's another thing, have a shared calendar. But look at our shared calendar, talk about what our goals are, talk about the things that we're working on, like the things that we need to focus on together and the things that we can support each other on that are going to be separate. But yeah, having a State of the Union planning meeting is really, really important. And doing that when it's just the two of you, not when you're trying to figure out how to have this conversation while the kids are doing parkour in the living room, right? If they all do it, bouncing off the couches and stuff. Do this when it's just the two of you. And also, that's my third point, is making sure that you get one-on-one time. That's a huge deal. Huge.
Yeah,
not something that. Well, yeah, something that, I don't always practice what I preach on that one. I don't get enough one-on-one time with my husband right now, but That's okay. It's on the calendar. It's on the shared calendar. We know it's coming up in 2 weeks.
Yay.
But yeah.
Date night.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, getting to do that. Talking about a reentry protocol also for both parties, because I mean, my husband and I will joke, my house is my station. And he'll tell anyone this is a 51-49 partnership, and Maggie's got that 51%. But then when he comes home, like, we're going to have hiccups. I know this already. When he comes home on Tuesday after 5 days, we're going to have some hiccups. We're probably going to be annoyed with each other, and we're probably going to get a little snarky, but we know this going into it. So I know when he gets home, I'm already going to be at work. That's what I need to be doing. It's best for me if I am already at my office, if I go in half an hour early, so I can just chill. Exactly. I'll listen to my audiobook, whatever the heck I want to do. That's my time. And he has his time to come home and decompress in a house that is empty, because the kids are already going to be at school, and he gets to have his time to just kind of ease into whatever the day is going to be like for him. There are times when, if I'm doing telehealth, I'm home. So we have our reentry protocol there too, where he gets to come in, and the dog is not part of that. She's very excited and running circles and howling and stuff. But I will back off. I don't even say hi to him for, 2-3 minutes. He comes to me when he's ready, because he can still get really overwhelmed when he comes home, just because he's already, sensory input is still pretty high, even with an hour and 10-minute commute. So that's kind of one of our things of having the things, learning and figuring out how it works for the two of you with that reentry protocol for everybody.
That's great advice, because that wasn't something I knew back in the day. And I remember watching a movie, and it was something about some guy being at war and coming back, and he's in his own head, and his wife is just like, "Oh, would you go to the grocery store? And would you do this?
Oh gosh, was it The Hurt Locker?
I probably.
Yeah.
And Chuck goes, "That's exactly how I feel." And I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just a young wife. I mean, I'm dealing with kids. I'm dealing with my own job.
Sure.
But I had no idea that he had just left the scene of a horrific car accident or whatever, where there was loss of life, or who knows what. But I think that advice is amazing, because you guys, that's just another part of learning that the opportunity is there for the young wives, and you really need to, you're not supposed to say need. It's an opportunity to take advantage of.
I love that. Yes. Well, and something too of being able to check in on the way home. There are times, like I've told my husband, if you just got your ass handed to you, that's one thing. But if you went on, again, calls where there is loss of life, or calls that are particularly activating for you, just call me. Don't give me the gory details. I don't want to know. They're not important, really. Just tell me what I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. Like, this is what I'm coming home with today. So, okay, I can, not come at you first thing when you come in the door, or we can talk on the phone, and I can say, hey, here's what we got for the morning. It's going to be an absolute friggin' mess when you get here. So if you need to take an extra lap around the block just to get okay before you come home, know that when you come in here, we're already operating at 60 miles an hour. So having those check-ins too ahead of time,
it's so
helps
good
for both of us.
Like you said, and it's nobody's fault. I know that after
it's
a
just the way it
120
is.
shift, if they didn't see anything, they're still on the 18-hour brain of I love that it's I'm just going to wait for him to come to me. Not going to push anything.
Yeah.
I'm the same way, where they'll be like, you're here early.
Mm-hmm. Also, I need to say too, this knowledge has been earned over 10 years of screwing it up.
Well, and this is why mentors are so valuable, in having this collective where we have so many different wives, significant others in different seasons, experiencing different things, can share different things that are going to resonate with our unique season, how it's going to work right now. And I'm going to remember in 5 years something one of you said, and okay, now this is applicable. And I remember that conversation because we have each other. Mm-hmm. And we're not alone.
Yeah, re-entry is
it's a big thing.
Man, it decides your next 2 to 4 days of it.
Gosh, it really, really, really does.
Because it is if it's set up and you're both triggered and you're both, man.
Well, I mean, we still have these days, and I normalize the hell out of that. We still have these days. I tell all of my clients, do not think for 1 second I have all of these things totally figured out, and that I don't make these mistakes. Yeah, because I'm a human before I'm anything else. Yeah, it's fine. There are going to be days. Again, I know on Tuesday, I know it's going to be a rough morning. It's okay. It's fine.
But isn't that the point? When you get you get the symptoms, but you don't know the diagnosis. And there's such relief sometimes in having a diagnosis.
Yes.
Because then you can say, oh, that's where our crazy came from. Or it's not that you're a bad person. It's not that you're over anxious. It's not that you're checking out too much. It's just the nature of the beast. And we're just going to hop on a surfboard, and we're going to ride this until we feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
And that's going to be probably not till tomorrow morning. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also...
sex first.
Then you talk later.
Let me cover the microphone.
Because then it's not as...
Joe, leave that in. Oh, man. But yeah, and also for the spouses, my other 2 notes were having your own identity outside of being a fire wife or fire partner. It's a big, big, big thing. and then doing the things that feed your soul so that you can be a more fully formed, better functioning version of yourself.
I think it's super important to encourage each other to do that, right? So it's like if you said,
and not just encourage, but make it work.
Right.
Like
so
you
like,
have to, yeah.
Right. So like your husband likes working on the car. Well, he's already gone on a 120, but when is he going to have his time to do his hobby and decompress in the way he needs to work on that car when you're maybe like, I need my break because now it's time for Maggie, and encouraging each other. Like, I know this is important to you and I see you as the best version of you after you have that time. So I'm going to make sure you get it. And then I'm going to make sure I get my time too. And, you know, having that trade-off, we did not do that very well when our kids were little. It was way too hard. And we're doing a much better job of that now. And man, I feel alive in whole new ways. It is so amazing. And I'm super grateful that we've gotten to this point, because for years it was rough. And to have a partner who wants and remembers that version of you and wants to see it again in this new season of life in a different department, a different city, different stage of you as a human and motherhood, like, it's sexy, like to see that, you know, and you're just like, I remember why I like you sometimes because it's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that is it for us. We are super excited for this Fire Family Collective that we are going to be bringing to the world. And we're so grateful. It's going to be launched in January of 2025. And it, again, is for everyone. So please stay tuned. Check the show notes and social media and all the platforms. We will be sharing that here. So sign up now. And thank you, Maggie and Stephanie and Anna, for sharing your time and your excitement for this Fire Family Collective. We're so excited.
Thank you, Amanda.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Have a great day.